Welcome everyone to my first battle report in English on this YouTube channel, and well, this is a first video material in English, that is. So today it's going to be Kings of War battle report, 600 points. Yeah, like it says. Okay, you can take a look at our list, and this is no power play. We could, like, both of us are searching for an optimal list. This is a Kingdoms of Men, and this is the list for the evil undead. So this is a quick peek of my army before actual setup, and this is obviously the undead army. So this is an initial setup. On the far right you can see the Great Worm and some dude on it, and there's a horde of werewolves, horde of zombies, horde of wights, then in the middle there are the skeleton spearmen, horde of bowmen, and another skeleton spearmen regiment, and there are two heroes behind the units, as you can see. And here is my army. Well, you can also see again the undead army. On the far left you can see the mounted scouts. Then there is a unit of knights. Behind them there is a giant. Next there is a regiment of arquebusiers. Then regiment of the foot guard with the sword, with the big swords, two-handed swords. Then there is a heavy pike horde. Another foot guard with the two-hand swords, and the general on the big flying beast thing. In the middle, the little chests, you can see these are the objectives. We're playing the scenario when you can snatch the objectives at the start of your movement phase, and well, then you score, or you can well stand in it and hope that you're gonna score, like there is more of you than the opponent. Okay, in the first turn, my opponent won the initiative, and he took the first turn. Well, he says that it's very important for the undead to start moving as soon as they can. So this is like a left flank. He moved his troops. As you can see, there are some heavy hitters on this side of the battle board, because it was kind of like developed into two sides because of the terrain that you can see in the corner. Sort of like the table was cut in half because of it. And there are some wights here, which are, well, pretty dangerous. And also we have the werewolves and the dreadful worm thing, which I am terrified of. I just have the, I always think that he's going to fly behind my lines, eat everything, and, wreak havoc. This is the other side, of the right side of the table. Here is the horde of the bowmen and some spearmen, and the bloody bowmen. They actually shoot. They have a piercing one on them. They shoot and put 3 wounds on my knights, which is very shameful. Yes, so here you can see there are 3 wounds already on my knights. So what I tried to do, my scouts, they're pretty, the only thing they're good at it's riding fast, so they did that, and they end up next to the objective, hoping to take it next turn. I was not really in any danger from the spearmen. In the middle I did few shots at the skeleton near the ruin at the middle, and I did put 4 wounds on them. Yeah, like I said, and that was pretty much it. I moved the sword unit that was, the foot guard unit that was visible. I moved it a bit, the one on the right. Actually, I sort of like screwed it up. I was hoping for those 2 units of foot guards to help the pike. But well, I put them in a way that the right one, that they were kind of hard for them to do anything. So I come up with the idea that I'm just going to put the pike a bit forward and sort of like anchor it against this terrain, since it was impassable. We decided it's impassable, so my flank was covered. I didn't really know what to do with my flyer, so I just kind of like waited what the dreaded worm will do, and then sort of like waiting for the opening. So not much happened actually. I just moved a little, and I sort of like braced for impact. Now, so happened what I was expecting. I was double charged by the werewolves and the big bird thing, worm with the dude. So basically, it was a part of the plan actually. So it wasn't all that bad. On the other thing, the bloody bowman shot at my knights again, and they did like a 6 wounds on them. You know, and you can see those 2 dice there. This is what my opponent rolled, and pretty much knights were gone. So there was a big surprise there. Well, I didn't see it coming. Well, the bowman did have a piercing one, but still. Okay, back to the other flank. I was doing rather well. The werewolves didn't do much. I mean, on the way when they were charging my pikemen, they had to go through the little wall visible in the upper corner. So the charge was hindered. The dragon thing didn't do much as well. You know, in total they just did 4 wounds, like you can see. So not much. I was pretty happy with the outcome. They just bounced back. Okay, so in my turn, obviously, I charged forward, and since there was an opportunity for my foot guard to charge the worm in the flank, well, I did it. I didn't really expect it to break it. It has like a 20 something, you know, to be broken, killed. But well, it was an opportunity that presented itself. I just couldn't say no, so I did that. I also charged my pikemen into the werewolves. Well, hoping that they gonna, you know, harm them or possibly kill them. I don't remember if I did. Oh yes, I think I did a Bane chant on the guys, on the foot guard, and my bird showed a little courage and, you know, flew over the woods and was kind of like waiting for the opportunity. On the other flank, my giant happily charged the spearmen, hoping to smash them to pieces. And the foot guard moved, so they moved down next to the objective and hoping to take it next turn with them. And I rolled like I believe like 11 for the number of attacks for the giant, and then I rolled you know, to hit and then to wound, and I needed like 2s, and this is what I rolled. So basically I did like a 2 wounds to this unit, to this regiment. Well, certainly not a thing I was hoping for. So we're not going anywhere anytime soon, not because of this giant. Anyway, on the other flank, again, I was doing rather well. I mean, like you see, I did like an 8 wounds to the werewolves. Well, they didn't run, and I did 9 wounds thanks to the Bane chant to a worm thing. I also did a heal on my pikemen. You can see there are 3 wounds now. They were 4. So it was not bad, but the thing is that you know, that those troops behind the worm, well, they were coming for me, obviously. So I hoped for the best and braced for impact. Well, since the giant didn't do what he was supposed to do, he got charged by the spearmen and by the big blob, I mean horde of the bowmen. Also, there was one more unit of spearmen on the far right flank. They turned to face my mounted scouts. The mounted scouts, the plan was that they were going to snatch the objective and run away. But since I lost the knight so early in the game, I thought I might do something with them. So they stick around, and that's why they are that far. On the other side of the table, well, the Great thing just, you know, countercharged my foot guard along with the whites. The zombies angled toward my bird, and well, the werewolves again charged my pike. So well, things were not looking good, not for the foot guard, and to be perfectly honest, things were looking bleak on this flank. So in the end, well, I got, you know, banged up by the dogs. I mean, by the werewolves pretty bad. They did like 6 wounds on me, and obviously the guard. I mean, obviously the guard ceased to exist. And the whites wanted to move forward actually, but the way they were standing, they couldn't. So my opponent just turned them around to face my bird. So in my turn, what you can see is it's already when I moved. I mean, you saw how these unit, I mean the mounted scouts were angled. Because of the way the spearmen got, you know, angled toward me, I just couldn't move anywhere not to be in a range of this unit. I mean, they could charge me, and I really didn't want that. Basically, in the end, I just moved backwards, and I was like, again, waiting for some opportunity to present itself. Well, I did had the objective, and was well outside the range of the skeletons, even with the surge. If they tried it, it was very unlikely they could charge my scouts. Well, right here, the giant decided to charge actually the big pile of, I mean, the big horde of bowmen. Since he was actually blocking the way for the foot guard, I decided to charge the horde, because, well, obviously I had to like center the giant against the horde, though giving you know, a line of sight for the foot guard, so they can charge the smaller unit of spearmen. Well, on the other flank, you know, the big fight continues. Because of how the thing turned out, the whites actually unblocked a space for my bird to attack the flank of the Great Worm. So I did actually, you know, very courageous. I attacked the bird, and of course the pike again moved forward, you know, to finally finish the bloody dogs. I mean, that was the hope. Again, you can see I had 8 wounds now. I did heal, well, just heal 1 wound, but well, it's still something, right? So, the giant fought bravely. I think he did okay. I don't remember really, but he did okay. He got like 5 wounds on him now because of the fight between him and the spearman. The spearman got wiped out by the foot guard, which is very nice. Well, here again, it went rather well. The pike finished the damn werewolves, well, finally, and my bird, my general on the big bird, killed the bloody worm. I'm honestly always terrified of this thing, so I was very glad for it being dead. So, well, the undead, well, not much happened here, apart from angling the units. The whites turned toward my general, which was not very, you know, happy thing. Well, that was pretty much it. The bowman here, well, charged the giant because of the lack of another targets, and well, there wasn't much they could do. And there was on the right, you can see the other unit of spearmen. They actually dropped the idea of blocking my mounted scouts, and they angled toward this fight, hoping for, well, for some kill, I suppose. And that was pretty much it for the undead. So in my turn, I basically angled my pike and was waiting to be charged again. Well, it wasn't all that bad. I mean, zombies are, well, I'm sorry, but they are just zombies. The whites were still in the woods, so the charge will be hindered. So not so bad. I was hoping it's going to go all right, actually. And that was that was my general. You can see him up here. I angled him totally wrongly. I mean, I still, you know, I'm pretty new to this, so I put him like, okay, he can see those zombies. Unfortunately, they just moved a bit. I just moved enough for me for the general not to be able to see him next turn. And to be perfectly honest, he didn't do much in the later game. Well, right here, the giant attacked the bowman again, and my foot guard flanked them and attacked them. So this was looking pretty good, actually. Well, yeah, and this is again, like I said, they turned their back on my foot guard. I mean, the unit of the spearmen. So I decided to just ride forward. I did some shooting at the skeletons, but I did absolutely nothing. So obviously, nicely I finished the big horde of skeletons. So the foot guard obviously attacking from the flank, lots of attacks on threes. Well, they just smacked them to pieces. Well, unfortunately, in turn, I got charged by the unit of spearmen. Well, they disregarded my scouts, like I said, and I think they did the right thing, and charged the giant. The giant is, well, like you can see that he was like wounded like 6 times already. Right here again, I got charged by, well, like I thought it's going to happen. The 4 wounds you can see on whites I did with the alchemist curse thing. So well, this is the ensuing combat between giant and the spearman, and unfortunately the giant got, well, killed. This was not very great. Well, here again, I did very well, actually. I got like 1 wound. I mean, I received like 1 wound. The whites healed 1 wound, I believe, because of that. But both of those units bounced back. But again, this was like a hinder charge for whites, and the zombies, well, they're zombies. And the pikemen are a rather hard thing to attack when they are being attacked from the front. Well, my turn. So, well, the only thing I could do was to charge. I charged the zombies. I did try to heal something, but it didn't work very well. On the other side of the table, well, I felt pretty good about attacking those skeletons. So I did that with the foot guard and with the you know, mounted scouts from the back. You know, lots of attacks. I totally smashed the bastards, and then I rolled the dice to destroy the unit, and I rolled well, but since there was a hero, undead hero with something, you know, in the vicinity, I need to re-roll the roll. So when I was rolling the dice, I actually talked to the die, you know, like I really did, like please don't be a 1, and I threw a first one, and it was a 1, and I said the same thing to a second die, and I threw it, and it was a 1, and you can see those 2 green dice, you know, double. 1 snake eyes. The bloody unit stayed. which did have like repercussions in the very near future, as you will see. Well, I did some bad stuff to the zombies. Unfortunately, not enough for them to die. And you know, what was coming was very nasty, because I was facing like a side charge by the whites. So this is like a 6th turn. So well, the things were moving faster and faster, like you probably know. I mean, in this game, in this system. So I got attacked by those 2 units, and it was not looking good. I mean, it was still like hindered charge by the whites, but you know, they threw like a bucket of dice, and well, the result was predictable. My very courageous and wonderful pikemen dudes were wiped out, ran away, died, turned into undead, whatever. They ceased to exist. Anyway, but it was not important, because I was still, I mean, well, I was still winning, right? I had the 2 objectives, and what was important, I mean, the important stuff was happening on the other side. So here, the unfortunate outcome of the last fight caused this unit to stay. So my opponent counter-charged the scouts with the skeleton unit, and he bloody killed them. So they dropped the objective they were carrying with them, causing for this objective to be owned by the undead. I mean, they are scoring right now because they are within 3 inches of the bloody thing, and I am not. Well, but I thought to myself, okay, this is like a 6th turn. Since I was, you know, my opponent was starting the game, I still can move and do stuff. So my foot guard will just dispose of those skeletons, and everything will be just fine. So well, I did what I was supposed to do, what I was, you know, planning to do. So I charged the skeletons and well, wiped them out without a problem this time. No double one, snake eyes or otherwise. So I was still not in the range of the bloody objective. So again, I talked to my die, saying, please don't be a 1, because this was the only thing that was like to ruin my plan. 1, and I you know, I rolled it, and it was a 1. Of course, what you can see on the picture is the situation after I rolled the dice. So you can see I am outside of 3 inches range, and I'm not scoring the bloody objective. So the end was that it was a draw when it comes to the objective, because the undead had 1 and I had 1. So we started to count what was left on the table. Actually, I was pretty sure that I lost, because I lost, you know, the big pikeman unit, the knights, giant and stuff. But in the end, it turned out that I actually had more points left on the table than the undead player. So, yippee! Well, I actually won. What can I say? It was a wonderful game. Obviously, I'm still learning the game. I believe so is my opponent, who is still searching for the optimal, you know, undead build. I'm not sure if there is an optimal Kingdoms of Men build, but I, you know, I like the army, and I'm gonna play it, I suppose, for now. Well, anyway, I won. It was a wonderful thing. You know, we didn't know what's gonna happen till the end, as you could see. So that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed it, same as I enjoyed the battle, and I hope to see you again. Cheers!